It's the Fellowship of the Geek Show, a weekly podcast about comics, the comic book industry, and other geek pop culture. Music courtesy of Manny the Martyr. And now, on with the show!
Hey there, everybody. It's the Fellowship of the Geeks podcast. My name is Thomas Chick, and joining me for this episode is Mike Marlowe.
Hey, gang.
Les Webster.
Hello, all.
And Liz Newman.
Hello, everybody.
How are you guys doing?
Great.
Fantastic.
Okra dokra.
Hope everybody out there is doing okay. So, what's been going on in your corner of the galaxy? Ducks and runs for cover. Yes, we have been warned.
Just remember, people, if it can be pried up, it ain't nailed down.
Oh, man. Do you want me to go first?
Sure.
We've been waiting with bated breath. Please.
Yeah, I have a few things I want to talk about, but the first one is a rant, and I should also mention that it could be a trigger warning, so I'm going to put that out there right now. I want to go back to, well, I don't want to go back to, but if you go back to 1991, I had a friend in Richardson High School who went into his classroom and he shot himself in front of his classmates. Pearl Jam, Eddie Vedder in particular, decided to make a song after reading a newspaper article about this, not many, just one newspaper article about this, and it became a very popular song called Jeremy. I don't know why Eddie Vedder keeps popping up in the news here lately. I don't know if they've got another album out.
I just want to.
Yeah, I just want to remind everybody he's trash. My mom, during this time, was a water aerobics instructor. And at the time, Jeremy's mother was in her class. And I cannot tell you how many times we had to sit with her while she cried about losing her son. Now, suicide's never the answer, but I don't think a person who does that should be defined by that one moment in their life. But as a mother now, I realize how hard it was for her to hear this song over and over and over again about that one moment in her child's life. And if you listen to the song, Jeremy is several times referred to Jeremy the Wicked. And they made it sound like his dad didn't give a shit about him. Well, he lived with his dad. He moved from Dallas to Richardson, and he moved in with his dad so he could go to Richardson High School. Dad gave him every opportunity. He was happy at home. There was not a problem with his mom. That's not why he moved into the dad's home. He just wanted to move into a different school district. So there wasn't any problems at home. They also make a point to saying that it was a mother who wouldn't wear him. His mother loved him. He was not neglected. He was not abused. The only thing that this song got right was that Jeremy was an artist, which is the first line in the song. So while I know that now since he's in the news, radio stations are going to start playing this song again. But what I find really sad about the whole situation is when we were sitting there with his mom, she had lawyers try to get a hold of Mr. Vedder and ask him, please stop. Please stop. You know, you're spreading lies about my child. People already think he's a monster. For 2 weeks, we had a guy outside of our school with a cross on his back telling us our friend was in hell. You know, it wasn't just that classroom who experienced that horror that day. It was the whole school and the hell they put us through. And I think when people give this song any time of day, any song play, it's just wrong. It's really wrong. His answer to her was he couldn't take the song down because it was charting. Because it was charting. I'm sorry I'm making you relive your son's death, but I'm making money right now, so screw you and your feelings, pretty much. I just don't understand how someone can read a newspaper article and just get everything so wrong, So if you're a fan of Eddie Vedder, I just want you to know he's trash. He's total trash and doesn't deserve your money. He doesn't deserve your time. He made a lot of money off a horrible situation and never once got to understand who Jeremy Wade Dell was. The Jeremy Wade Dell that we knew. The Jeremy Wade Dell who walked us to school. The Jeremy Wade Dell who made everybody leave us alone, not pick on us. The guy who loved his sister, who would do anything in the world for her. The girlfriend he left behind who was pregnant. The son he was, the brother he was. That's what people should remember about him, not that one moment, I would like to say we knew why he did it that day, but we don't. There was no note left behind. There was no signs. You know how most people are like after someone does that? They're like, oh, I should have known because he did this and he did that. No, there was nothing. Absolutely nothing. Before this happened, he was suspended for, I think it was 2 days. It was ISS, so it wasn't like stay at home. He was still at school, but he went back to class the next day after he served his ISS. Teacher asked him for his note, kind of gave him a hard time about not having it, and instead of going and getting a note, he went and got a gun. That was the only clue that we had that something was wrong that day. So had we known he had a gun, we would have said something, but we didn't. But he didn't ever show any signs of being depressed or being unhappy in his life, being harassed, being picked on, nothing. He was a good guy. And I am sorry for the people who had to witness that day. And I'm sure this song also brings up pretty haunting memories for them too. So Eddie Vedder is trash. Don't give him your time. Don't give him your money. Let him be a has-been like he was and let him fade, go away. He doesn't deserve to profit off that. So that's my first rant, guys. I'm sorry I had to say it because, like I said, it's been in the news. It's all, oh, he's a great guy, and he does this, and he does that. And the only thing I can remember is a crying mom asking him to please stop. And he couldn't because the song was charting, He couldn't even correct the song of all the mistakes that he made in this song, but, it was charting, so, it's all good. So that's my thing. And I do want to say after telling that story, if you ever feel that way, please reach out to someone. Please. There's hotlines. There's friends. I would rather sit and cry with you for 2 hours than to hear your eulogy the next day. So that's where I'm at on that one. So now I'll get happy. We had a scare this week at my household, and it put me out of work for a few days, so I had a lot of downtime. A lot of downtime, which is quite different than chasing a baby around all day. So my first thing to do was I started watching movies. My first movie, or trilogy, that I started was a show called Bunny Man, which is basically a bunny man. No, he's a man in a bunny suit, but he can't speak. His brothers set him on fire when he was little, and that he's all scarred and everything else, and that's why he wears the bunny man suit. If you happen to run across these movies, the first one's kind of cool, if you can get past the first scene where he kills a busload of kids, but after that, it's pretty cool. But the first one was kind of weird because they would break into the movie and it was like this reel is missing, and they would go into like these weird commercials and songs and stuff, which it was kind of like, you know how when you watch an old movie and you can see like the hairs go by or the grainy effect, it's kind of done like that, and it was weird. It was really weird. So I thought, what the hell? I watched the first one. I'll watch the second one, which is Revenge of the Bunny Man. And that one was kind of weird. Really, 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 really weird. It's just basically a bunch of killing. And then the third one, it was kind of a little bit more interesting. Not as interesting as the first one. But the third one was kind of cool because he goes back to the brothers who originally set him on fire. And they're running a haunted house now. And, like, some of the scenes and stuff in this haunted house are, like, actually dead people. And, you know, people don't realize it and that kind of thing. So it was kind of weird. So I watched the trilogy and I thought, well, what the hell? Let's watch something else stupid. I got plenty of time. So then I ran across Clownado.
I still can't believe you did this.
Clownado was bad. I mean, it was bad. There's a guy who owns a circus, and he's like a dick. But his girlfriend, he found out, was cheating on him, so he winds up killing his lover, and then, like, tortures her at the next show and stuff, and pretty much tells her, this is going to be the way it is till we get to the end of this tour. You know, I'm going to do this every night to you. So she goes to her friend, who's a witch, and she was supposed to kill him, and she didn't. Instead, she traps them in a Ford pickup truck in a tornado. Yeah. I mean, that's the only way a Ford could run, right?
Wow. Thought you said this wasn't going to get political.
Cars aren't political.
The hell you say?
Let's cut back on the name dropping here, but go ahead.
I mean, it was bad. The acting was bad. The costumes were bad. The plot was bad. I mean, and I'd like to say that some parts were so bad it was kind of funny, you know. But there's like a redneck guy that she winds up meeting up with, and he's probably the funniest part of the whole show. But it was just like in one scene she like crushes this guy's head, and she's like playing with his brains, and they show a close up of this, but it's like you could see that it's like this some kind of weird fake-looking gel stuff, which they love to use during this movie. And you know, it was just bad, you know. He cuts her arm off, and she sticks a fork in it, and he makes the comment, stick a fork in me, I'm done. I mean, it's that bad.
This sounds like my kind of movie.
I was about to say, it sounds like something Les would say. Yeah.
Well, if you've ever seen Attack of the Killer Clowns, that one
Yeah.
is so much better than Clownado.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's going some.
It is. But it's kind of one of those that curiosity got the best of me. And why is because the picture they showed, it was a pretty wicked looking clown, you know, so it was like, this might be cool. That clown was not in the movie.
Oh.
Like nowhere. Most of the clowns that they showed on that cover was not in the movie, you know.
Wow.
So, but if you want to say you've seen it, it's on Amazon. It is free. Go figure.
I don't think anybody in their right mind would pay for that. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You should have been paid for watching it.
Yeah. Well, you know, after watching bad movies, it was kind of like, well, what am I going to go to next? I mean, how do you follow up killer clowns in a tornado? You know? So I jumped over to Bruce Campbell.
I was going to say, at that point, I'd start questioning my own judgment and stop watching movies. That's what I would do. But anyway.
Well, on the Bruce Campbell tour, I watched They Call Me Bruce.
Mhm.
Hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely hilarious.
That's a good one.
He makes fun of himself the whole way, you know. which makes it even more funny, you know. But I had not seen that one before. I was surprised I hadn't seen that one. Well, and after I watched that one, it throws up the suggestion of, hey, you might want to watch Bubba Hotep.
He might.
Yeah.
I've never seen Bubba Hotep. I've heard you guys talk about it, but I've never seen it. Wow.
It's a hoot.
It is. That was kind of crazy. It was like, wow, okay, so this is Elvis in somebody else's body with a growth on his dick. What? And I guess the other guy was supposed to be John F. Kennedy.
Yeah.
Ossie Davis.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the claim.
So that was pretty cool, you know. So I watched that one. Like I said, thumbs up on that one. And it was like, well, I hadn't seen that one. So Les threw out another one that I hadn't seen yet either, which was Briscoe County Jr. And that's kind of where I'm stuck right now. I don't know why there was only one season of this. It's really good. The Phil keeps asking me, what is it? Well, it's kind of like a sci-fi western, maybe. I mean, it's set in that time, but it's not really western kind of thing. But it is. I mean, I don't know. How do you describe that?
It's. I mean, you might get some argument with this, but it's really not that far off of steampunk
True.
in its
Yes.
own way.
Yeah. And that's what I was about to bring up. Some of the things that he does, like the fingerprints, you know, and it wasn't just like this out of the way, you know, oh, that's a modern thing they're trying to bring in there. There was always a way they did it. It wasn't just so far-fetched to throw in there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He used things that would have been around that time. Read what was it, Pudd'nhead, which is how he learned about it, which was from that time. So it's kind of neat the way they connect things. And I absolutely loved when Bowler was eating the donuts from the kid named Duncan. That was awesome. But the show constantly has little things like that if you're paying attention, they throw it at you, you know. So I'm having a lot of fun with this. Like I said, I'm halfway through. I'm still wondering why there was only one season because, you know.
A lot of us wondered that.
Yeah. And it's really weird to see a young Bruce, you know. So it's pretty cool. If you haven't seen that one, I would suggest that one. I couldn't find it without commercials because there are a couple places, I think even Amazon, you can watch it for free, but it has ads. So I went ahead and bought the whole season. I think it was like $20 for 27 episodes. So not bad. And I definitely see myself watching this again. So I'm kind of glad I did buy it. But yeah, cool. So halfway through, if you guys have any more suggestions, corny movies or Bruce Campbell, I'm liking it. And my last thing I think I'm going to save, I had another rant, a DC rant, and I think, I don't think anybody's surprised right now by the things that DC does. So.
Yeah, no, it's kind of not really news anymore. DC's weird now, that's all.
And it seems like every day it's something new with them, so it's kind of sad. It really is kind of sad. I hate to see where they're headed, especially if they're trying to cut comic book stores and cons out. I mean, that's like the backbone of comics, so it's just kind of sad when a big company gets a hold of something like this and you see the greed come out. So, and every day it's something. This person's been fired, this person's doing this now, and this guy's out the door, so.
Yeah, I mean, we've discussed this a little bit on Discord, and I've said how I'm trying to figure. I'm wondering how much of it is strictly DC and how much of it is coming from AT&T trying to cover itself from all the stupid moves it's made, but they're compounding it with even more stupid moves. So just I don't know.
Yeah. Well, like I mentioned on Discord, I used to work for a company called Excel. It was a telephone company. We were part of MCI, and AT&T came in and they bought the company out. And at first we were thinking, hey, this is a good thing. It'll kind of pick up business and it'll kind of push us forward. No, they came in and pretty much gutted us. They immediately fired over half the staff there, or employees there. My job was safe because I was the only one who could do my job. I worked with commercial accounts, but everything else they let go. If it didn't make money, it was gone, you know. And even things that were making them money, like our long distance service, they cut it. They got it down to the smallest size they could. They took the good parts out, kept it for AT&T, and then sold us off. I think back to MCI. So it was kind of like, what? So, they think about their bottom line and not the people they have to cut to get to that bottom line. You know, there was never any warning for us. When the takeover happened, we found out the same day, you know, so it was kind of, nobody could plan, and it kind of sucked because you were walking around for weeks wondering, am I going to lose my job today? You know, are they about to call me down? Did they find a way to do what I do without me? You know, but I can only imagine with DC, these people have worked together for 15, 20 years, and now you see them walking out the door with a box, you know. So they don't think about people. I think with DC, they'll think about the characters, their catalog, their IPs, and everybody else is just filler. You know, the stuff you throw out of a package to get to the good stuff. So I don't know if I would want to work for them right now. And I bet everybody who does right now kind of felt the way I did back then. Is today my day? You know, do I need to have my box by my desk? You know? So I don't know. I said I wasn't going to rant, and I did anyways, didn't I?
You did.
It's just kind of shocking.
It's okay. When you said you weren't going to rant, we didn't believe you. It was cool.
Yeah.
I
whispered bullshit under my
Well, it's hard to find the joy with DC like I once did. I mean, I would fight you before tooth and nail about DC, but now it's kind of like, it's a bunch of assholes running the shit.
What's the fight? It's all true. I mean,
yeah. You can't really defend it anymore, you know.
Right. They're not bothering to defend themselves, so why bother?
Well, because they don't care. They don't care what we think. They don't care what anybody else thinks, you know. They're above the clouds, and they never see the little people below.
Well, you ask who would work at DC, it could be used as a springboard, because, God, how many names are there that have had success elsewhere? I mean,
True.
First, James Tynion IV. I mean, he already had some success before coming to doing stuff for DC, but, you know, but now with, something's killing the children. God, I mean, it's almost every week there's a new thing about the latest issue selling more than the first
issue
or second issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he's kicking ass on that one.
So I mean,
And I honestly believe with Scott Snyder stepping out and doing his Kickstart was kind of testing the waters to make a jump too. I think he'll finish what he's doing at DC, and I think with that Kickstarter he found out I can do this on my own. I don't need that, you know.
He's at the point where he doesn't need DC anymore.
Yep.
He doesn't. I mean, he's done everything he can do there. He's gotten everything he can out of that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And why stick around? I mean, especially given how weird it's gotten.
Yeah.
And honestly, the other thing to keep in mind about these folks is that the people we're talking about here, they're not direct DC employees to begin with. They're all freelancers.
True.
So these are not the people who are worried. There may be a few that are like, hey man, this is fun. I don't want to stop doing this. or hey, this is paying better than something, which I kind of doubt, to be honest. And so I don't want to lose it. But for the most part, all the freelancers, yeah, they don't. I mean, it would suck, but
Yeah.
it will not hurt them that much if DC goes under.
Yeah.
I mean, the deal is that there are actual real employees there that are living like that. People you never hear about, names you never hear, and that's the suck part.
Yeah. Like marketing and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
The editorial staff.
Yeah.
All of them.
And if they go through their plan to only sell to book fairs and Amazons and stuff, how many more people is that going to cut out?
That depends on what happens to the sales numbers over time.
Yeah.
You won't know that until somebody figures it out, and then boom, that's when the hammer drops.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
And pretty much no warning, you know?
Yeah, not necessarily. Why would they warn you?
Yeah. Get 100% out of you before they cut you off.
Right. I mean, and honestly, once they make the decision, there's no point in stretching it out at that point. So there's not going to be any warning because a decision's going to get made, and the next day, people are going to be carrying them boxes out.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I may be old-fashioned, but I will never go over to digital comics. I can't. To me, holding the book, smelling the book, there's just something about that experience reading a comic and not on a screen, you know. I like looking at the pictures real good, and it's just a whole different experience than something you read on the computer, you know. So I'm afraid if that's their plan, not like I'm Miss Badass or anything else, but I won't be following that plan, you know. As much as I love my DC characters, I'll find something else, you know. Which I pretty much have pushed myself over to indies anyways. Thanks, Mike. But
it's where the cool shit's happening, honestly.
It is. And I like it because it's not a bunch of superhero stuff. It's everyday life shit that got twisted.
It's
you know?
Whatever you want. You can find a comic about anything. Doesn't have to be superheroes.
And I know Marvel should be worried about Image right now. I have not read anything by Image so far that's not been good. So I think they kind of was like, phew, when DC got out of the Diamond game and had to compete with that number. But they better watch their back because Image is catching up. I would have to say that they're number 2 for Diamond now, if not number 1. Because isn't that also what Something is Killing the Children came out under, was Image?
Excluded.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, with DC out of Diamond, yeah, Image obviously moves up to number 2, and everybody else moves up the chain.
Yeah. I see Image overcoming Marvel though, just because they don't have that constant storyline that they have to reboot or reset or future it or anything. You know, it's here you go. You know.
I don't know about that, but
yeah, not as
just
many.
Just in terms of numbers. If we're talking about now, if you want to talk about comparing floppies to say trades, and yeah, we're not doing a rant now, right?
Yeah.
Floppies, Image. I don't think Image will ever beat Marvel. Now, like, trades, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Image has always done better in trades. Because, you know, when Saga was going, Saga was always took up like the first, you know, it took up half of the top 10.
It did.
And it wasn't just the latest. It wasn't just the latest volume. It may be there, but it's also the first 3 or 4
right.
volumes.
It would be the last 2 volumes and the first 2 volumes and maybe a third one somewhere in the middle.
And Walking Dead was the same way. And so, yeah, I mean, in terms of that, yeah.
You know, I've always liked, too, that Image with their first trade. It's always $10.
Yep.
Always.
Yeah, Boom was doing that as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're still doing that, but they did that. Yeah.
Which is cool. If you want a good starting point, it was cheaper than everything else,
Yeah. And you're only talking about $5.
Yeah.
But $5, I mean, $5 is $5.
Mhm.
$5 is an extra comic.
Yep.
Well, or it could be applied to another trade.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. So we'll have to hang on to our seats and see where this is going. But it's almost like a train wreck. You have to look. You just have to.
Do ya?
You don't want to, but you have to,
Do you really? I don't
What
She
do
know.
they call
does.
that? Rubbernecking?
Hmm.
I know with train wrecks, I want to know why I've been setting for 30 minutes. What is it? Was it a car? Was it a train? Was it a cat? What is it?
You don't want to know if it was a cat. Come on.
No, I don't. I'd cry all night if it was. So.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was my week.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, partly because I don't want to try to follow that, but also partly because I'm an impossibly boring person. I don't really have much this week. I'm kind of still doing the same crap this week that I was doing last week. So, I'm still picking at like the reruns of shows that I'm watching, and I'm still playing the same game I'm playing, and I'm still staying home because that's what smart people do in the middle of a
Yeah.
pandemic. And that's about
Don't
it
get
for
me
me.
started.
I'm not. We're gone from that. That's over. Done.
Your rants
No,
are over, Liz.
you are done. I'm cutting you off.
Cut my mic.
I wish. But anyway, oh, no, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. No. But yeah, so, I mean,
Liz, you were just here a minute ago. What happened?
right. Can you hang her up on Skype from over here? I don't even know. I've never tried to do that before.
I hadn't even thought about it before.
All right, now I know. It's not Skype. It's Thomas
Now
cutting me off.
it is something to look into, but
So yeah,
Um,
boring week,
yeah.
which is good. I
Yes,
like boring
I can mute her and remove her from call. Just
Ooh,
FYI.
okay. Good to know. Good
You
to
guys
know.
don't want to do that.
Not yet.
Can you imagine the rant when I came back?
but
Yeah.
would we allow you back?
I can
Oh,
control
true.
that. I'm the one that hits the record button, so I can totally control that.
Actually, you guys haven't done it, and 2 days ago marks 3 years, you guys, that I've been with you. So
That's true.
I know you love me. You wouldn't cut me off.
Well,
Not yet.
Not until you get a big head, anyway. We'll see.
Where do you think you are, Norma Ray?
She's about to start hitting us up for the green M&Ms in her trailer again, I think.
I think
Oh,
so. Okay, Les.
Well, thanks, Mike. You didn't give me much barrier there.
Slid right out of that one, didn't I?
Yeah. I just spent time with a friend of ours and see how he was doing. And then around the house, I was watching the TV a lot. It happens when you're retired, believe me. And that's really about it. Nothing major, except getting on Discord and seeing what's going on there too. And I'm going to drop that right now, folks. Get on Discord.
It is a lot of fun over there.
I think so.
We amuse ourselves.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I've gotten some really good suggestions on things to watch over there too.
Good.
Yep. Which is one I forgot to mention. Social Dilemma. Have you guys seen that?
No.
Wow. Wow. I think Troy mentioned it because something about VR has to be attached to Facebook now. And he's like, well, I don't want to do that because I don't want a Facebook account. And I was like, well, why? I mean, you know, all my shit's connected through Facebook. And he's like, well, watch The Social Dilemma and you'll find out why. I shouldn't have watched Social Dilemma.
Thanks, Troy.
Wow. It's an eye-opener. It really, really is. It kind of lets you know how far they go with playing with us. So, and these are by the people who, like, one guy made the like button on Facebook, and he was like, I didn't realize then what I was doing, you know? I was wanting to spread positivity, and it backfired, you know? They had another guy from Twitter, Instagram, the guy who made Pinterest. I didn't even know Pinterest could be drama, and boy, he shows you it can be. So it's kind of like, wow. It's just a real eye-opener. It really is. And I know for me, when I go to reach for my phone now, it's the first thing that pops in my head. How much are they going to sell me for today? You know? So.
The answer to that question is as much as they can.
Yep. And one guy made a very interesting point. If you're ever using something and there's not a product to buy, you are the product.
You're the product. Yeah, I've heard that before too.
So it was kind of like, wow. And it's just not even if you click on stuff, it's just your engagement with these apps that they get paid for.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely put it on your watch list. I'll tell you now, it's a real eye-opener and really had me second-guessing a lot of the things that I do now. So I'll stick with Discord. I don't know. Are you selling me over there, Thomas?
I could use the money. Yeah.
How do we incorporate ads? I had my little evil fingers going. So yeah, I think that one is on Netflix.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So
Looking right now.
It's pretty good. And now I don't blame him for not wanting to have a Facebook account for his VR, you know.
Interesting. Well, now that was Les's turn.
I'm sorry, Les.
Yeah.
You triggered me, man. You should have cut my mic. I don't know I steal from you.
Uh-huh.
I'm good, thanks. Getting into movies or something, I did watch Knock Knock, and this is a very disturbing movie with Keanu Reeves. And you best have an open mind when you watch this, because it is pretty gritty.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not to be taken lightly by any means. It's scary that way. Not jump out and scare you, but just frightening as to how it could happen.
Interesting.
Yeah. I guess it's my turn. I really don't have much this week. I've been kind of working on several projects for the Discord and the podcast. Since it's already been brought up, we do have a Discord.
Wait, what? We have a Discord?
Yes, we do. It's available for anybody to join in. You can just go to the website, www.fellowshipofthegeeks.net. And right there on the front page says join our Discord. Just click on that. It's an open invitation. If you do not have an account, it's free. Really easy to sign up. And I advise downloading the app. I use the app a lot. But we post a lot of fun stuff in there. We post some news items in there. We are currently doing a casting call that's Discord exclusive. As we just released first cast member today with choices, and everybody seemed to like what everybody else picked. So that's a good start. Last month we had Liz was posting horror, scary, Halloween type of daily questions, which was kind of fun to see the responses to that. So just a lot of fun stuff going on. So definitely check it out. You're more than welcome. Enjoy the fun.
Am I still muted?
No, you're not.
Don't forget about our movie night.
We are talking about possibly having a movie night on the 28th of November. I hadn't decided what film we're going to watch yet, but we have some time. Matter of fact, if you want to be part of that, just join the Discord and throw out suggestions for a movie night. And we actually, by the time this drops out, we'll have our virtual meet and gab. So we'll have that on the 21st. So a lot of stuff going on. We may have something for New Year's Eve too. We may ring in the New Year with the fellowship. So just a lot of fun stuff planned for the Discord. Before we get into this week's this discussion, I do want to do a programming note. We will not have a new episode next week. This is going to drop on the 22nd, so there will not be a new episode November 29th, but we will be back the following Sunday, which would be the 6th,
I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So be apprised of that. Alrighty. Speaking of casting calls.
Dun, dun,
yeah,
dun.
we should do one of those sometime.
Yeah. You're a long-time listener to the podcast, or recently, and just been binge listening to the show. First of all, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, you would know, probably figured out that every other month we will do a casting call that is, for the most part, comic book related. It's either as a TV show or a streaming series or a movie set in some certain time period. We've done some as far back as the 50s and some as recently as this year. So we've had a lot of fun doing these. It's really kind of interesting to see what selections everybody else comes up with. So with this one, we are doing an Avengers film, and this is actually I've selected the release date of 1967.
So if it is safe to do so, you may need to bust out Google to see who the heck we're talking about on some of these.
Yeah, that's true. So with that, who would like to go first, and who is your first casting decision?
I'll go first. I'll start straight down the list. Now I'll have to say I wasn't very familiar with the 1967 actors. So once again, mine is totally aesthetic.
It's kind of the trick with the older ones is you kind of, unless you're just really familiar with that era, it's you're Google. I was Googling a lot with this one because I just kind of had to. I had to get a list of names somewhere.
And honestly, I think a lot of the classic stuff that I've learned from you guys in the last 3 years. So thank you for that. So I will go with Captain America.
Okay.
And the guy I picked, I actually knew him from I Love Lucy. He did a couple of guest stars on her show. And I went with Richard Burton.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
She's going highbrow here. Jeez.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Well, when I first did this, I was like, well, is this going to be TV or movie? So my list is kind of comprised of both. So.
I to be honest, I was kind of looking at it as a movie. So.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
kind of with you there. But yeah, I mean, he was pretty good leading actor at that time. So yeah.
Yeah. And a good one. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
plus he had that boy next door kind of charms like Captain America does. So.
Yeah, he's British, but that's kind of the only weirdness in there.
Yeah.
That's all right.
He didn't speak British.
He can fake it. He just sounds like he's from Boston. You know, it's all good.
We had a New York Captain America.
Yeah, sure. Whatever you can fake, you know, it's all good.
Okay.
Exactly what boy next door did you find again?
No, I said Richard Burton because I guess mainly because he played the sweet part on Lucy, you know, like when she burned her nose, he could have, the way he treated her in the restaurant was hilarious. He could have totally went off on her, but he didn't. You know? So, but I could also see him being the type of person to go, shh, don't cuss.
Just shush, don't cuss. Yeah, while between cuts, he's screaming about getting his fucking agent on the phone because I can't believe I'm doing this shit. Yeah.
Give me a goddamn cigarette.
It was the 60s after all.
Right.
Why not? He's an actor. He can fake it. Let's don't worry about it. I did not pick Richard Burton. I did see his name a couple of times, but I did not pick Richard Burton. My Captain America, I actually went with somebody who was actually a little bit younger than maybe, I don't know, I'm not sure age mattered that much. And I kind of went with a list where age didn't matter much.
Me too.
But I picked Robert Forster for Captain America because, damn it, he's just a cool guy. And I thought he has enough leading man in him. I think he could pull it off and be in charge.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, for my choice, I picked a man that would become to be known as Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
And that is Red Brown. Red Brown played Captain America in 2 movies.
2 TV movies, yeah. Yeah.
So I figured, yeah. And I'm sorry, Red Brown is a hack. And I'm sorry, but there was just no 2 ways about that.
I'm looking at his Captain America costume.
They were TV movies for sure. Well, those were like
The
early
motorcycle
70s,
helmet.
right?
79.
Oh, late. Okay, that was late 70s.
Yeah, and this was a movie, Captain America was a movie that was previewed. There was a preview of it when I went to see Back to the Future 2. And it said, coming to you. And I thought, okay, of course, Back to the Future 2 is nothing more than a setup for number 3. And after seeing Captain America on TV, because it never hit the theater, I was happy it didn't make it to the theater, because that was one that would turn away anybody and everybody. It was that god awful. Was was it Henry De Silva, Thomas, that played the Red Skull?
Let me see.
Well, anywho, he sucked the screen dry. It was so bad. And being one that loves bad movies, this one would not even rate on my list. There's no way. I didn't like it, and I'm going to forever bind Reb Brown with this position. So there.
So you're just straight up making a B movie out of this then.
No, not totally.
And I can respect that if that's what you're doing. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Please don't be.
I'm also okay with the idea that maybe you're pitching Cap as, I don't know if patsy's the right term, but somebody who's really kind of just along for the ride through the whole process. If that's where you're going, then I'm cool with that too.
That sounds about right.
I mean, if you go with the early, I mean, even with the recent movies, I mean, at the beginning, he had no idea what was going on most of the time in the first couple of movies he was in. So, I mean, why not, right? Why would he? He's been out of commission for years. As in, like, unconscious.
Yeah.
So, makes sense, really.
Okay. I went with the kind of the guy next door, with the good looks, and it's funny because he would eventually be in a Captain America movie several years later. I went with Robert Redford.
Ah.
I wondered where you were going with that. I was like, he's picking Sam Jackson for Captain America 67?
I was thinking Matt Salinger.
But yeah, I mean, I can see Redford.
I could
Yeah.
do.
I think he could do it.
Yeah.
For sure.
He was pretty good looking when he was younger, too.
Mm.
As long as you don't ask him to swim.
I don't think we're even going to ask him to ride a horse.
Maybe freeze to death, but...
All right, Liz, next.
All right. Second pick. Yeah, pick. Good night, everybody. No,
It's all
second
that
person.
Ranny.
Mm.
Second person is Thor. Now, on this one, I needed a big guy, a Norse god, you know. And I'll have to say that when I first saw the time period of this, I knew I was going to fit this guy in because I've actually met him when he was making The Golden Child. And I picked Randall Tex Cobb.
God,
I
how
used
old
to
was he in
babysit.
this point?
He would have been 17 at this time. So he would have been younger. This would have been
Okay.
his boxing days when he was still pretty built and not stocky.
Okay,
I could see that. It's an interesting idea.
definitely.
But can he speak Norwegian or at least English?
I don't know about that, but you know. I know he's a hoot, though. If I would have never have known who he was until after he left, I think it was his sister told me who he was. And she's like, yeah, he's making a movie right now. I'm like, really? What is it? She didn't know the name. She just knew it was with Eddie Murphy. So.
Neat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Name dropper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, that's not the direction I went. I went with someone who I thought would be um, a physical presence without necessarily being big. Um, so I went with Aldo Ray. Partly because he's kind of, I don't know, he's the blonde, blue-eyed type guy, um, and in pretty good shape and all, but also had kind of a distinctive voice. And I thought the voice would add something to it to make him stand out. I'm pretty sure you could make him. You can fiddle with his speech patterns all you want in the script, and I mean, he could act well enough to pull it off, and I think it would be fun. But yeah, I was trying not to get too freakish by going like big or actually choosing like someone from Norway or whatever. I thought that would be a little weird. Based on what Liz said, another idea that popped into my head was Dave Prowse, but just kind of as a side note. But yeah, I thought Aldo Ray would be fun in a role like this.
Yeah.
He usually played someone who was kind of a scrapper anyway. Did a lot of military stuff, did some westerns, played a boxer a few times. So you could get him in there and have him just take a swing at somebody for whatever reason.
Yeah. It's a good choice.
A la Rocky type deal.
I mean, kinda. I mean, I could see it. That's one way it could go. I mean, you could also. I mean, you could have him just doing several different things like that. You could have him do just the straight up brawler, or he could be. I mean, I don't know. One of the things you're going to be limited by here is the special effects in 1967. So,
True.
I mean, you might as well just make him hot-tempered and jumping in and starting fights with stuff or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I didn't think that far through it because I figured that would get handled in scripting, and that's not my job here. My job is to cast.
Good point. For me, I wanted somebody with distinction, and granted, he is no bodybuilder, but I was thinking Lawrence Harvey, just because of his demeanor, the way he carried himself. And that's what sold me on his figure. I was thinking Montgomery Clift before, but unfortunately he died the year before we're talking about this. So that's mine, Lawrence Harvey.
Okay.
Cool.
That's cool.
Yep. A little different approach.
Mm-hmm.
I went a little obscure, and basically the reason I chose this actor is I had seen him recently in a film that I had never seen before, but I had heard a lot of things about it. And at the time, I was putting together this list for this casting call and all that. I'm like, okay, he's not really talking a lot, so I don't know how he would be able on handling lines. And this was his only role, but he definitely had the physique. So, the film that I saw him in, his only role, was Faster Pussycat Kill Kill. And I'm talking about Dennis Bush.
Yeah, like I said
What
before.
other roles?
Hmm?
I'm sorry, what other roles has he done?
That's the only Faster Pussycat Kill Kill was the only role he ever did.
So this could have been his breakout film.
It could have been.
Yep.
If that was the path he wanted to go. But yeah. But I just seeing him, I was like, okay, he definitely has physique. Yeah, I don't know about his acting because, I mean, this is his only role.
Was there any acting in that movie?
Yeah.
Now, also in the 90s, wasn't there a band called Faster Pussycat that put out an album, Kill, Kill, Kill?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I think it was 80s.
80s? Okay.
Yeah, I think it was hair metal, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they lasted very long either.
They didn't. One hit wonder.
If you could call that a hit, yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember hearing it on the radio a few times, but it wasn't much.
Yeah. They were too much into ballads at the time.
Yes, they were.
All right.
All right. The next guy we have is Hawkeye. Now, the actor I picked actually wouldn't start acting until 1973, so I guess this would have been his breakout role too. But all the movies that he's done since, he's known for his handy gun work. So I thought if he can shoot well, he could probably shoot a bow and arrow well. So I went with Fred Ward.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I could see that. Especially a young Fred Ward.
Mm-hmm.
That would be that could work really well. Cool.
Yeah.
That was, again, not the direction I went, but that's okay. I actually almost, and if it hadn't been for the 1967 thing, I probably would have made Hawkeye female. But I kind of decided not to because it was 1967. And you're lucky you get a female Wasp, but we'll get to that.
Right.
I actually wanted somebody who maybe wasn't as big and bulky, and so he wouldn't stand out so much, but he could still interact with people. So I went with Michael Murphy. Maybe a little on the obscure side, but the guy's been around forever. He's usually done kind of smaller roles in stuff. He did a lot of stuff in a bunch of Robert Altman movies. He was a favorite, but it was always a small role. But like he was in the MASH movie.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the guys kind of in the background. I mean, he had some lines and was pretty funny, but not a major role. And did that, like I said, in several Altman flicks in that time period. Honestly, mostly like all the way through the 70s and into the 80s, and has done some other stuff. But yeah, he's one of those guys. If you see his face, you'll know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites. So yeah, I like that.
I like that choice too. My choice for Hawkeye was the man that defeated the Blob.
Ooh.
I was thinking Steve McQueen because I know he can shoot.
Just had to reference the Blob, didn't you?
Of course.
Once again.
I stayed away from Steve McQueen on this one.
It's a pity because he was really hot at this time.
He was, yeah, he was. It is a good choice. I just knew if I picked it, you guys would never like it.
That is accurate.
That's the route I took.
Yeah, I like that.
I do too.
Absolutely.
I kind of went a unique path, I guess. Not sure what you want to call it. he was kind of big in the late 60s. Well, maybe pushing it a little bit, but he was definitely out there. And I definitely thought he can handle being the hot-headedness and impulsive that Hawkeye was kind of at this time period. I went with Tony Franciosa.
Okay.
Hmm.
I like that sound.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Cool.
Next.
All right. Now we come to Wasp, which, as you guys mentioned, was kind of surprising for a girl at this time. I wanted to find someone who could be sexy and classy at the same time because, being a female, they would have played up the sex appeal. I almost thought of Barbara Eden or even one of the Gabor sisters, but I thought, no, she needs to be classy. So I went with Barbara Feldon. Well, I'm not saying that. They were total sex appeal. It just eased off of them, That's what they were known for.
Uh-huh.
So I thought Barbara Feldon could pull it off and still be classy about it and still look good in a cute little wasp costume.
Absolutely. Could not agree more, especially since I managed to narrow it down to two. And I was really torn, and so my plan, I was going to pitch them both here.
Okay.
The Gabor sisters.
I don't have to pitch Barbara Feldon now, so that's okay. I will let Liz stand on that one. My other choice for this role was Jill St. John. Honestly, and either one of them on pure spunk. They're some of the roles that I mean, you pretty much know Barbara Feldon from Get Smart, and she held her own in that show, and that's enough. That was a lot of work. She was the straight man, as it were. I mean, not that they weren't all that way, but
Now, Jill St. John, she was a Bond girl, wasn't she?
she was, and she was a really mouthy one, which that would have been a few years later, but so she actually would be a bit young, but I don't know that would have been a problem.
No.
I think she's tough, and that I think that would be an interesting way to play. I mean, you kind of have to be to do what she does, what Wasp does, especially in that time period.
Yeah.
So she's got to be brassy, and I think Jill St. John could pull that off. And honestly, I think I agree with you on the Barbara Feldon thing. Obviously,
Yeah.
just from the presence that she had to have to play straight man to Don Adams.
Yeah.
That's all you need right there.
And she was smart.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't see a lot of women using their brain,
Right.
So I always liked her.
Yep.
I had a thing for redheads because I liked Lucy too. So.
You do?
Mm-hmm. Surprise!
Lucy who?
Carmichael.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
McGillicuddy.
There you go.
I commend you on those two, and of course Jill St. John was the villainess that died in the first episodes of Batman TV series, and
there you go.
It was kind of funny to see the way she died, but not funny, funny, peculiar. For my choice, I've got two choices there also. One was the girl next door type, and that was Sandra Dee.
I looked at her. I thought about her for sure.
And I was torn because, like my predecessors, I was looking at it like she needs to have a sex appeal. So I went and turned to Carol Baker, who would be a mouthy type, but could definitely hold her own on screen.
I can see that one too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
When I was looking at for Wasp, I mean, y'all talked about it being the gutsy, can hold her own, but you also got to remember this is the 60s. They kind of really played up that she's a girl and she's got to have a different costume all the time and that kind of thing. So when I was looking at this, I was thinking of someone who could do all of that, be the entire package, and I picked Jill St. John.
Cool.
I was like, she can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So
I think, too, Natalie Wood, she would have been good during this time, too.
Yeah, that's true.
Totally.
Very true.
Alrighty, next.
All right. Giant Man. Now, he really doesn't have an aesthetic because he's in a costume. So, I basically went with Brawn on this one. So I went with Max Baer. Is that right? Is how you say his name? Baer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Max
Baer.
Baer Jr.?
Yes. From the Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Junior. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because his dad was a boxer.
Which is probably where he got his brawn from.
Absolutely.
Essentially. Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, no, I like that.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting role for him.
Mm-hmm.
That would definitely be a stretch for him.
Yeah,
No
definitely.
pun intended.
I don't know.
It would, and I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since he was doing TV, a movie would have been kind of a breakout for him, too.
Yep. I mean, he was on a pretty damn popular TV show, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's funny how you pigeonhole certain actors.
Yeah.
And another case, and that show is one of them, because one of my top 10 favorite Twilight Zone episodes has Ellie Mae Clampett. I can't remember her name right now.
Donna Douglas?
Donna Douglas. And you really wouldn't recognize her, especially the way she talked and all that, because she's not doing the accent and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And she was wonderful in that role. And it was the one where she was in the hospital. They were trying to do surgery on her, trying to make her attractive. But she was beautiful. She just said it was a world where everybody was horribly disfigured.
Right, it was the
Spoiler
one
for
with the twisted faces, yeah.
the twisted faces and all that.
I don't
Spoiler
remember.
for
Eye of the Beholder.
Eye of the Beholder. Yes.
Yeah, that one. Couldn't remember the name.
Yeah. It's a great episode, and she was great in it.
It is, yeah.
So,
Good
yeah.
choice.
So. All right, Mike.
Okay, so we're talking about Giant Man. I'm not casting Donna Douglas as Giant Man.
Okay.
Just saying.
Sure.
I actually didn't interpret this as a large person. So I wanted to go with somebody a little younger, but who could play the genius if he needed to, because that's the deal here. Is,
Right.
I mean, you're looking at essentially Hank Pym. And so I picked George Peppard.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of before he got big, but I said big. That was bad. That was bad. He was still doing pretty minor stuff. So I think it would be fun to stick him in a role like this, where he actually would have to kind of work at it. He would have to act some.
Yeah.
I like that.
Me too.
I was looking at somebody that was pretty much established, and that is Rod Taylor.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah.
A guy that, to me, well, he played a genius in one movie,
Mm-hmm.
so I could see him pulling it off in this one.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's good.
Yeah,
Yep.
that would be good. I like that.
This one I had a little fun with because I looked for someone who looked like he would be a scientist and someone who could create the particles that could make them shrink or make them grow. So I kind of went kind of an inside joke, and I went with Grant Williams. And if people don't get the joke, he was the Incredible Shrinking Man.
Wow. That's a long way to go for that one. But no, he actually did a
That's
really nice
cool,
job
yeah.
in that movie too. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's cool. For a minute, I thought you were going to pick Richard Burton for this or something, but
Oh, that would have been fun.
I thought he was going for Arnold Stang, but I was wrong too.
So,
cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
okay.
All right. Well, I got my guys mixed up. Kang is the one that's all costume.
Yes.
And on this one, I kind of went with someone who would have kind of been a little well known in TV at this time for the part that he played in I Spy. And I went with Robert Culp.
Ooh,
Okay.
that's an interesting
Interesting.
idea.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
That's doable.
I'm not sure he's the type of guy who would accept a role where his face wasn't going to be seen, but I bet they could have made some way around it.
It would have been cool to see him as a villain, though.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
he always played good guy, you know?
Oh, yeah. That would have been
Yeah.
awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of embraced the mask on this one and figured I would get away with something here. And I'm not going to claim this is an original idea or anything, but this being the mid-'60s, basically, you're not getting that many black actors on TV or in movies, for that matter. And my first thought when you get somebody in a mask is, I want the voice for this. And the best candidate I could think of in this time frame was Brock Peters.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Because he's totally got the voice.
Yeah.
And it would be fun to let him run with being the bad guy.
Yeah.
Because he didn't really, I mean, forgive me if I'm misinterpreting what I've seen of his stuff. I don't recall him playing the bad guy very much, if at all.
I think you're right.
The roles, especially the roles he's known for, are
Yeah.
all, I mean, usually victims, but generally speaking,
Yeah.
they're on the right side of the law.
The closest one I could come to is, I'm trying to remember, was it Admiral Cartwright in Star Trek VI?
Yeah.
That's about the closest one. I mean, he wasn't really a bad guy, but he was part of the group that was trying to stop the whole peace negotiations between the Federation and Klingon Empire.
Fair enough.
That's about the closest I can come up with.
Yeah. And that's a stretch, pretty much. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's fine. I mean, he was perfectly fine in Star Trek 4, so, you know.
Oh, that's true.
Perfectly nice guy there, but, you know, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good.
Yeah. Alrighty.
For Kang, I too was looking for a voice. And as far as I know, this man's voice is so recognizable. Just like the voice for Ultron was recognizable. For this one, I picked Michael Caine.
Oh.
Nice.
Somebody that would speak and you know exactly who it is.
Mm-hmm.
Even your neighbor said so.
Yeah. He was the Morgan Freeman of his time.
Yeah, kind of. I like it.
Yeah, I like that one too.
Yeah. That is good.
I kind of went different. He has the voice. He has a good voice, maybe not as recognizable as the voices that y'all mentioned. I think he's the stuff I've seen him in. I've liked him. I could definitely see he's done some villain roles, but not. I don't think he's done a whole hell of a lot. But I like him as an actor, and so it's kind of in similar territory that y'all were doing. I went with Oliver Reed.
Mm.
Oh,
I like that.
yeah.
I do too.
Oh, and to let him play a bad guy?
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Maybe I was having flashbacks of Oliver. I don't know. As the musical that he was in as oh God, what was his name?
Was he Fagin?
Fagin?
No, he wasn't Fagin.
Was he Bill Sykes?
He was Bill Sykes.
Ah,
yes.
okay.
Yeah, after remembering him in the Three Musketeers and its sequel,
Yeah.
and of course the werewolf movie he did back in the 60s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next.
All right. The last one we have is Loki. To me, Loki's downfall has always been his temper. He just has no patience. So I was trying to think Bad Boy of 67, and I came up with two names.
Okay.
Kirk Douglas was known for his temper, and so was Clint Eastwood. So I think both of those could kind of play a mean part. I think you would probably get more funny out of Kirk Douglas. So.
Yeah, Kirk Douglas could certainly ham it up more.
Yeah.
And I think that would probably be more entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I agree. Either one of them could pull it off.
Yeah. Nice.
Yep. I went for. I'm not sure I went for much of anything. But for some reason, the name that popped into my head when I started thinking about Loki was one that I don't know, seemed perfectly obvious to me. I don't know if you guys will agree, but I thought of Anthony Perkins.
Yeah.
Because I think and I'm going to justify it to compare it to your pick, Liz. I don't think of him as being the temper. I don't think so much of temper as just the mercurial thing. He just shifts at the drop of a hat. It just his whole output just changes. And I think you're going to get. I think I think Perkins can do that really well.
Yeah, he did that pretty good in Psycho.
Yeah, I mean,
That's perfect. Yeah.
and the way you pitch it is you just give him like 4 personalities, and you hand Tony Perkins the notes for 4 different personalities and say, okay, here's where you're going to shift these, and he's definitely got the skill to pull that off.
Yeah, for sure.
Very interesting.
And he can also do it with an eye toward the camera, which I think would make for a fun twist.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
let him be the one who's kind of not necessarily breaking the fourth wall, but the one who will look into the camera every so often just for a second. I mean, right as the personality's changing, I think that would be fun.
Especially with that twisted little smile, that
Mm-hmm.
psycho smile he had. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I mean, it's almost too much of a callback to Psycho, but what the hell, it would be fun.
It would be. Well, I mean, Loki is kind of psycho. So
Right, absolutely.
that is a good choice.
For me, once again, I wanted somebody, an experienced actor, somebody with great resolve. No, not Arnold Stone. But for me, the man who could talk to the animals, Rex Harrison.
Oh, man.
Ooh.
That could be fun.
That
Yeah.
could.
For some reason, his name jumped. And I was there to receive it because it's almost too funny to
Yeah.
pass up.
Yeah,
Like that.
that would be cool.
Yeah, that's fun. I like that.
When I looked at this, I thought of, okay, first of all, we got to do the Shakespearean dialogue because that's what Morse gods do. Thank you, Stanley.
All believable. But go ahead.
So someone who could chew up the scenery, but could also be intense as well, and do the entire gambit. And I think it would have been someone who would have embraced the role, and I think he would have been perfect for it. Roddy McDowall.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He is the Mark Hamill of his time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Wow, some great choices.
That
I definitely, that is the thing I love about doing these is I'm thinking one way and y'all think another way, and there's really no answers, wrong answers. They're great choices. It's something that I hadn't thought about. So awesome job, guys. I really
Yeah.
I like it.
Me too.
Yep.
We should all take a bow on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
A Laurel and Hardy handshake.
Mm-hmm. Ribbit. All righty. Let's go ahead and take a quick break, unless there's something else y'all want to. Any final thoughts before we move on?
No.
I didn't really come up with any extras this time. So
Yeah.
Just get on Discord and tell us where we're right or wrong.
yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
There you go. Yeah, I mean we do have a channel. It's entitled Podcast Feedback. We would definitely love to hear your response to this particular casting call or previous casting calls or any general feedback.
Yeah.
We already get some interesting feedback on some of the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I have been enjoying that aspect
Yeah.
of it. So
Yeah.
feel free to jump in there and add to that. That would be cool.
So,
Yep. maybe you guys have someone we haven't thought of. I know when you guys mentioned it was like, damn, why didn't I think of that guy?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Get your head out of I Love Lucy, Liz.
It's not
She's
a
got
bad way
Lucy
to.
on the brain.
It's not a bad way to go in this time frame. So
Yeah.
can't argue that.
She
now,
had them all on there.
Now, if you're still doing it, we're casting something in the late '70s, and you're still doing that, then that might be an issue. But you know.
Right. I mean, I tried to fit Richard Widmark in there somewhere. I just couldn't.
That's a shame too, because he's good.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, I love Richard Widmark. He's awesome.
I agree.
He could be Nick Fury.
There you go.
There you go. Yep.
There we go.
Which
Awesome.
version?
Which version
Which
of Richard Widmark?
Fury?
Oh,
The
Nick
1967
Fury.
one.
Which version of Richard Widmark are we talking about? Is that what what's that the question?
no, I said that.
I'm
Oh, okay.
so confused.
And on that note, we're out. 3, 2.
Slow down there, Speedy. Jeez.
No, it's just really good choices.
Yep.
All right, and on that note, we are going to take a quick break and be back with our weekly picks. And we are back. It's time for our weekly picks, and leading off this week is Liz.
All right. For my first pick, I found out when I picked it, we've talked about it when it was on Kickstarter. This is IDW's The Comic Book History of Animation. They're going to break this down for us in 5 parts. And they say that it's anywhere from Aardman to Zoetrope, Disney, to Hanna-Barbera, to Pixar, and everything in between. This first issue is going to deal mainly with the silent characters. So I guess we're going to be learning a little bit about Felix and the guys around that time. It seems pretty interesting. I'm excited to see what the second one is. The silent cartoons to me were always interesting. I love black and white cartoons, so I'm glad that they're starting there first. I guess that kind of is the first in the animation line, though. So I'm excited for this one because I'm always curious about the behind the scenes, and I think they're going to give this one to us. So pretty good. If you did miss it on the Kickstarter, like I said, they are going to be reissuing this. It's going to be 5 books, so make sure you get them all.
Yep.
And that's from IDW.
Yep. These guys did a great job with the history of comics, so it's going to be exciting. It's going to be good stuff.
Yep.
Very nice. All right, Mike, you are next.
Okie dokie. My first pick is a deluxe edition collection from Image Comics of all places. But this is for Criminal. This is actually the Volume 3 deluxe edition. And it contains a bunch of stuff from Criminal. A bunch of the kind of the most recent stuff. Stuff like they did a couple of kind of smallish graphic novel type things recently in the last year, maybe 2, including titles like My Heroes Have Always Been Junkies and Bad Weekend. Those are included in this. The most recent 4-issue run of the Criminal book is in here, and there are a few other little bits and baubles. And if you are not familiar with Criminal, I know we have talked about it a few times because it's been around for a while, honestly.
Yeah.
There's this, oh man, it's just such good stuff. If you're into crime stories of any kind, you gotta take a look at this stuff because it's awesome.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
All righty. I am next, and for my first choice, it's a first issue of a 5-issue miniseries from Marvel Comics. It is Power Pack. The Power Kids are back together. They're actually reforming a superhero team. But the problem is there is a brand new law that restricts underage superheroes. This is something that's been going on in the Marvel books the last few months or so. So, of course, superheroes. So there's a crisis going on, and they're having to battle the law while they're trying to save New York City. So I'm a big fan of Power Pack, and it's really cool that they're back together. And I like the premise. This should be a fun series.
Cool.
Yeah, sounds cool.
I'm in on that one for sure.
Alrighty, Les, you're next.
My first choice comes from DC, and it is the other history of the DC universe. What intrigues me about this is looking back at that original series, the 2-issue series, that told you how DC universe began and progressed, was fabulous. And now they have John Ridley as a writer for this, and he looks at the mythology of the universe. So you get a little more insight into various things in this one. So you get a common thread, which is pretty interesting as to how the groups were formed and how the characters were presented and handled. You have illustrations by Andrea Cucci and Giuseppe Cumicoli. I am not really familiar with their work, but I'm looking forward to this one to see what they come up with. So I'm in line for this. I'm ready for this, and I want to read this for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, sounds good to me.
That does.
I like all that kind of behind-the-scenesy crap, though.
Me too.
Yep.
How it works.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, Liz, you're up again.
All right. My second pick is it's a combo. We get two great characters in one book. It's Gut Ghost and Stabbity Bunny. They say this is a one shot. We're still waiting for the regular Stabbity Bunny. I don't know if they're going to restart that. I really hope they do. It's been a while. Come on, guys. But I guess this is kind of a little teaser before they do that. They're calling this an epic battle of uber cosmic importance. And they say, is it the fate of their universe? No. Is it utter annihilation? No. It's about a broken TV set. Yeah.
This is reality.
It is. Yeah. They've probably been locked up too long, right?
Mm.
So we will get to see what happens when your regular Joe everyman Gut Ghost meets your average knife-wielding plush bunny. What could be any weirder than that? I'm excited. The cover is so cute. You got a little plush bunny holding the ghost's guts, so like it's his hand. But
It just warms the heart, doesn't it?
it does. It's like, oh.
Most of the other
then,
internal organs, too.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for this one. One shot, like I said, it should be funny. Probably gory considering the two. So definitely pick this one up if you need a little stabbity in your life.
And who doesn't? I'm just saying.
Right. Stab.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does sound like fun, though.
It does. Sounds like it's going to be really funny.
Yep.
Need to stay away from Liz Street here for the next week or so.
Mm.
Stab.
Cabin fever.
Alrighty, Mikey.
Okie dokie. My second pick is from Dark Horse Comics. And this is actually another collection. This is the library edition this time. So this collects the first two series. The first two series of Critical Role Vox Machina Origins. So if you have been living under a rock, you may not know what Critical Role is. Short version is it is a video series. I think it pretty much started on YouTube, although I think they're pretty much, you can find them anywhere now. And they're essentially a bunch of, mostly professional actors playing D&D. And so they were not the first, but damn did they spark the craze for this. And so what this story is this is actually kind of an origin story for the characters that they started out this series with. And so if you are an established critter, then you definitely want to get a hold of this, because it is actually a very interesting and very cool fantasy story.
Awesome.
Sounds cool.
True that.
Okay. I am next, and for my second pick, it is a graphic novel from Source Point Press entitled Dial P for Peanuts. And essentially, this is Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None, or 10 Little Indians, depending on what title of the book story you've read. But this incorporates the Charles Schultz Peanuts characters grown up and not being the sweet, friendly kids that we know and love. They're cynical, they're jaded, they're grown-ups, and apparently all have secrets. And one by one, each one is being murdered as they are on this in this house on a remote island. So I saw the cover of this, and then I read the synopsis, and I was like, "Oh, this is going to be fun." Would love to read this, so definitely want to check this one out.
It does sound pretty good.
Yep.
And it sounds like they leaned on Dial M for Murder as close to a title.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Yeah.
It is.
Alrighty, Les.
All right, my second choice is from American Mythology, a publisher that has carried on a lot of good Edgar Rice Burroughs stories. This is a new series called Monster Men, Heart of Wrath. This is a new miniseries based on Burroughs' classic Gothic horror science fiction novel that reveals about the nightmares that you have. It's trying to go back and review the first series is a long process, but I'm in on this because they are picking up the story again and giving it new life. So I'm ready to jump in the middle. Let's go.
It does sound good.
Cool.
Alrighty. Just a reminder, no new episode next week. For the basically we're taking a week off for the holiday, and happy Thanksgiving to all of you that celebrate it. Please celebrate it safely, as safe as you can. If you're traveling, be careful, and obviously with the current pandemic situation, just take all precautions, and hope you have a good time. And we'll be back the following week to wrap up 2020. Just a few more episodes left. Any special shout outs this week?
No?
I just
All right.
wanted to say congratulations to my friend Lucas. He had a Kickstarter for Alice in Mobland, and it did get back double what he asked for, so congratulations.
Yeah, now he has to get to work because
Yep.
now he's got to fulfill that sucker.
Yeah.
But he knew
Oh,
that
he's
going in.
ready.
Right, he knew
Yeah,
that going in.
he is so ready. This has been a project in the works for years. When he told me this morning, I think, I was just excited as he was because I've seen this thing at the beginning and now come to fruition. So just really amazing, very talented guy. I'm so excited to see what he does next,
That
Awesome.
is very cool.
Nice. Yep. Anything else?
I'm shaking my head here.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I heard something rattling. All right, we'll move on to our regular shout-outs. First off, I want to thank Pop Goals Culture Podcast Network for allowing us to be part of a great group of podcasts. There'll be a link in the show notes. We highly recommend that you check them out. We also want you to check out the fine folks who make up Podern Family on Twitter, who've been so kind enough to spread the word of the fellowship. And how you can check them out, just go to Twitter and do a search, hashtag Podern Family as one word, and just scroll through and whatever catches your eye, download an episode, and hope you have a blast listening to them. Thank you guys, as always, for your support. I also want to thank Maddie the Murderer for supplying the music to our podcast. Check out the link in the show notes. Listen to their fine music. Thank you guys, as always. And finally, you, dear listener, thank you for downloading and listening to today's episode. We appreciate your support, as always, and we value your feedback. Any questions, comments, observations, suggestions, what have you, we'd love to hear from you. And there are several ways you can reach out to us. Our email address is email@thefellowshipofthegeeks.net, or you can go to the website and go to the About Us page, and there's a contact form that you can fill out. And also, we mentioned it earlier, we do have a podcast feedback channel in our Discord. You can join our Discord by going to the front page. There's an invite right there. You can contact us through social media. On Facebook, we are The Fellowship of the Geeks. And on Twitter, we are @Fellowship Geeks. And if you like to follow our personal Twitter accounts, Mike can be found @MikeyGeek. Liz can be found @LN_geek. And I can be found @TomTCGeek. And from wherever you download our episodes, if you would please take a couple moments to rate and review us, it would be greatly appreciated. Anything else before we say goodbye for 2 weeks?
Just thanks, everybody.
Thanks and happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you in 2.
And 2.
You too.
Of course, you got to do the 2 and then reverse the 2.
Sure.
You too.
Got to do the Woolery. Got to do the Woolery.
Gotta do the Woolery.
Yeah. Thank you for listening, everybody. We do appreciate your support. And until next time, geek on, my friends.
We thank you for listening to the show. Comments, suggestions, and questions can be sent to email@thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. You can follow us on Facebook @The Fellowship of the Geeks and on Twitter @Fellowship Geeks. Until next time,